Здравствуйте, уважаемые друзья! Я знаю, как важна в нашей жизни визуализация. Я сейчас подъезжаю к аэропорту Трюдо в Монреале. Соответственно, подумал, что вам, наверное, будет интересно посмотреть на аэропорт, в который вы прилетите. Чтобы, когда вы здесь оказались, вы не чувствовали себя чужими на этом празднике жизни. Соответственно, сейчас я включу музыку, точнее не музыку, а радио. Просто будет что-то говорить, вы будете ехать вместе со мной, смотреть на этот самый аэропорт, построенный, если не изменяет память, в середине 80-х годов. Наслаждайтесь.
And Dave Podolchuk is on the line. Hi, Dave.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thank you for calling us today. So, have you? I'm wondering what your connection is to the Tragically Hip.
Well, my brother introduced me to the Hip back in 1989, actually, when they had played a show in Winnipeg, and then in '91, I came to we had a Sunfest concert out here in Gimli, and about 40,000 people attended over a weekend, and they were one of the main acts. And that was the first time I saw them live. And I didn't live in Gimli at the time, but the festival was here. And my brother and I saw them then, and I got hooked. I've seen them at least 7 times live. I've probably seen Gord Downey 2 more times after that when he came to the Winnipeg Folk Festival with Sarah Harmer. So I guess I'm one of those psychotic Hip fans that just follow them for years, for more than a generation.
So what do you like about seeing them in concert?
Well, they're outstanding in concert. It's their musicianship, really. I mean, they're very animated. They're great live performers. When you add the way they write their lyrics, they're outstanding writing in the lyrics, and you combine that with their live shows. I mean, that's one of the really basic reasons people love them so much. But your last couple of callers. Well, I'm 52. She was 57. The person before that was 18, and that's right across the country. And I spent about 20 years in the armed forces, so I've been to both sides of the country a few times. I find Hip fans in George Street in St. John. I find Hip fans in Victoria. I find Hip fans in Edmonton. You're going to find Hip fans everywhere. They've got a psychotic following here in Winnipeg. Their concerts are always packed.
What do you all have in common?
I think it's, they're an indie band in a way, one of the original indie bands to me, and it's just the Canadianness of the music. There are other bands maybe like them, but they've stuck around for such a long time, and they put out such a quality product, and I think people identify with them. They identify with their Canadian attitude. Gord Downey spoke to this in an interview in 2012 on CBC, what he liked about the country, and I think it's because a lot of other people across the country of varying ages like the same things, and he sings about things we understand. Back in '91, he was singing to a crowd about David Milgaard, and then he had a song called Thompson Girl, talking about the nickel mines, nickel stacks up north, and then Bob Cajun in Ontario. So that Canadians relate to this.
And will you be going to any of the shows this summer?
I'm going to find a way to go to one of these shows. If one's sold out, my wife and I are going to look for another concert in another city, and we are going to get there.
So you'll be hitting the road?
If we have to, we'll be hitting the road.
Dave, thank you for calling in today.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Bye.
That's Dave Podolchuk, and he joined us on the line from Gimli, Manitoba. People are also talking online. Gail Nestel wrote to us, the Hip and Gord sing of social justice in ways that are part of the Canadian consciousness. For me, that is the legacy to generations. Glenn Farrelly from Toronto tweeted to us, I've loved the Hip for years and never thought of them as just a great Canadian band, just a great band with great songs. And Adam Travis from Fredericton, New Brunswick wrote to us saying, I learned more about Canadian culture and history from the Hip than any social studies class. So if you want to participate in the conversation online, send us an email, checkup@cbc.ca. We are also on Twitter and on Facebook. Just search for CheckUpCBC, and throughout the program, I will be reading excerpts from social media. Our next caller is Ilya Bizyav, who is phoning us from Edmonton. Hi there.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So as you've heard, we've had people calling from all over with lots of insights into the Tragically Hip. What made you decide to call us?
Well, you see, I came to this country in '99, actually from Russia, and I found that Canadians have some of the same, values with hockey and being northern, and back home, music was very important to me, and music about Russia was very important to me. So coming to Canada and really trying to find myself and really the culture of the country was quite difficult, I think, until I heard the Tragically Hip and started traveling throughout the country. And as I'm listening to his songs and being in the places that he sings about, it just made me so proud to be part of this nation and to be part of this culture, and finally seeing the culture that he sings about. It was just amazing. I mean, and Gordon Downey himself, just truly an artist. You watch him live and his mannerisms, the lyrics that he sings, you can tell that he believes them. It's not like he's just singing, something that he wrote. He's really into his own music. So, yeah, I mean, I lived on the East Coast for a little bit, and, I've been to Toronto and played Bob Cajun there, and just to see how crazy that town can be. Can't even imagine what it would have been like in the riots, and, to a contrast of a little town like Bob Cajun. I mean, I got it. You
got it.
And,
so,
yeah.
Ilya, how old were you when you were going through that experience, when you were getting to know the country at the same time as you were getting to know the Tragically Hip?
I would say it was 21 to about 23 when I really started to understanding what it was about. I had all sorts of jobs. I worked on a pipeline.
Вон и мои друзья. Вижу. В общем, друзья мои, я думаю, что вы все поняли, что вы поняли, какая здесь архитектура, как здесь с трафиком и так далее. И надеюсь, что вам это каким-то образом поможет в вашей визуализации. Прилетайте сюда сами, самостоятельно. Так, надо бы как-нибудь припарковаться, наверное, перед этой машиной. Все, встаем, грузим друзей. А вам всем хорошего дня и пока-пока.